In the recent episode titled Fragments, we explored the folklore and popular culture at the root of so many Yeti legends. The Yeti really does represent a holy grail for many lovers of monsters, mysteries, and putting the historical pieces together to find a bigger truth. And as people have shown over the years, that tension between doubting the stories and believing them to be true has proven very attractive. And it's not the only example. In fact, there's another fascinating story I'd like to share with you. I've got my coffee. I hope you do too. So let's dig in. Some of the most unusual stories about mysterious creatures came to us through the earliest explorers in ancient history. It seemed like the world was one big danger zone, and there were dozens of monsters that needed avoiding. For example, there was the Scytalus, a snake that was covered in the most reflective, iridescent scales known to man. They were so shiny, in fact, that they used to use it to their advantage, blinding other animals and even humans so that they could slither up and bite them. Then there was the creature known as the Cynocephalus, literally the dog-faced people. They were believed to only give birth to twins and represented that complex tug-of-war between civility and animal behavior. And then there were the downright fantastical creatures like the manticore, a lion with the tail of a scorpion and the head of a human. Or my favorite, the bonacon, a sort of bull-like animal that had unusual horns and the ability to spray fiery feces from its back end. I think you get the idea. Which is why it's not surprising to read about a Greek explorer named Hanno the Navigator and his trip to the African continent in the 5th century BC, because while he was there, he reportedly encountered an incredible monster, right there in the flesh and blood, and the stories that followed set a lot of people talking about what it could be. During his visit, Hanno described seeing a beast that was nearly as large as a human, but covered in fur, with massive shoulders and deep-set eyes. His reports about it were frightening enough to be passed along to others down through the centuries. And they seem to be confirmed in the last decade of the 16th century, when an English traveler named Andrew Battelle had his own encounter. It seems that during his time in the southwest of Africa, he would frequently see similar creatures enter his camp in the morning, most likely looking for food. The weirdest part of Battelle's description, though, was that these creatures were so human-like that he was a little annoyed that they didn't offer to help out around the camp. And yet, despite that, they were so alien and bizarre that he had to tell others about them. In 1847, though, better clues started to come to light. That's when an American physician named Thomas Savage, along with a naturalist named Jeffries Wyman, came into possession of some bones of this mysterious creature. And finally, the puzzle came together, locking it in as an official animal with a genus and species title. But all of those centuries of rumors and reports might have been prevented if Hanno the Navigator had just listened to his indigenous guides, who told him exactly what the creature was called. Their name for it? Gorillae. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. This episode of Lore was written and produced by me, Aaron Mahnke, with research by Ali Steed and music by Chad Lawson. Lore has existed as a podcast for almost 7 years now, and you can find an ever-growing catalog of more than 200 episodes on every major podcast platform. So if you want to listen there, check it out. In the meantime, subscribe to this channel, click that bell icon so you don't miss out, and if you love today's video, click that like button. You can learn more about everything going on in the world of lore at lorepodcast.com. You can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search for Lore Podcast, all one word, and then click that follow button. And when you do, say hi. I like it when people say hi. And as always, thanks for listening.